Stray was developed by Blue 12 Studio and released by Annapurna Interactive in 2022 to a really positive response. And perhaps it's no surprise, it is after all a game where you play a cat. This is a relatively short game with the average playthrough lasting between 5 to 7 hours, and this duration works well as I feel the game mechanics can't support a much longer game than this. As you play a cat in the game, you will be moving like a cat as well. You walk across narrow ledges, jump to high platforms, and squeeze through narrow gaps. However, your movement is primarily controlled by the movement buttons and then the appropriate button prompt for interacting with things or jumping. The jumping is only possible when the game authorizes you to jump. There is no free jumping or platforming. In fact, even walking off a ledge is easier said than done, as the cat will just sit down and watch the view for their own safety and my chaotic disappointment. At the start of the game, your happy kitty is out with their kitty friends, only to sadly fall down into a mysterious dystopian cyberpunk-like city below. And from there, the overarching goal of the game is to get back outside. But it won't be easy. The first segment is used to teach you the basic of exploration down there and to introduce you to B12, the little robot friend who helps you talk to the other robots of the city and keeps an inventory of keys and other collectibles. The robots don't seem to care at all that you're a cat, so they will happily talk to you about their lives and troubles, and answering your questions about how to progress on your quest to get outside. And while you can just follow the main story, there are also several side quests that let you help the friendly robot, and I found these really enjoyable. The main game is split up into two types of areas. There are the exploration areas, which you can kind of safely look around in. This is where you're going to meet the robots, and you can talk to them, search for collectibles, and solve side quests, and generally just relax in. And then there are the linear levels, which have some of the same things, but also have the addition of little monsters that want to eat you. And when you encounter them, your only hope is to run away and dodge those vermin who come at you in absolute hordes. There are so many of them. So while you won't find any challenging platforming, I found the chase sequences to be surprisingly intense. And it took me a while to get a hang of how to avoid these creepy critters as they try to jump at you and bite you. Later on, the game also has some stealth sections, which were not my favorite, but they were still a nice mechanic to deal with. But outside of the chase scenes, you will be spending most of your time exploring, solving puzzles, and finding collectibles. And while the puzzles aren't very challenging, the collectibles are pretty well hidden. In fact, I have not found all of them yet. And then you can of course just act like a cat. You have a button to meow, which I used a lot, especially because the sound of the kitty are absolutely adorable and remind me very much of my own cat. You can scratch things, push down items, drink from puddles, and take naps in comfy places. And then there is my favorite, which is rubbing against the various robots who get all flustered by it and show a little heart on their face, which is just adorable. Now, while the story itself isn't anything mind-blowing, it's still a nicely told story. And I left the game pretty satisfied with my experience, making it, for me, a worthy game to have played. So if you're interested in some dystopian exploration as an adorable kitty, Stray is probably the only game on the market that will offer that. But at least it's quite good. But what do you think? Is Stray something you're interested in playing, or have you played it before? Let's talk about it down in the comments. Though let's keep spoilers to a minimum for those who have yet to play the game. And while you're down there, do the good YouTube stuff by liking and subscribing. And in the end, all I wanna say is takk fyrir að horfa og eigðu yndislegan dag.